Hi everyone, Fred Yelverton, turfgrass weed scientist at North Carolina State University. So what I want to talk about today, this is springtime, let's talk about Poa annua, or annual bluegrass. The reason I want to talk about it is because not so much that we can do much about it right now, but now is when everybody sees it. So a lot of people are asking what to do about it. So let's talk about that for a second. It's a good time to have a little reminder about annual bluegrass. First of all, in North Carolina, about 80% of annual bluegrass germinates in the fall. You don't see it. You see it this time of year, or you see it when warm season grasses go dormant. But you don't see it when it germinates. It's a very small seedling, and so you see it, it's seeding this time of year, and now is the time of year when it's very objectionable because it produces all those seed heads. This is true in cool season grasses and warm season grasses. So let's talk about how we deal with annual bluegrass, because it's a good time to have just a little lesson on that. First of all, you always want to aim your control tactics for the fall, because that's when it's germinating. So you can use a pre-emergence herbicide. You need to do that by about September 1 in the case of a prodiamine or something like that. If you're in fescue, that's going to preclude you from seeding, so that's a problem. So let's talk about fescue for a second. One of the things you can do in fescue that not very many people use, it's a very good treatment, is Prograss. Prograss is a good treatment. You want to start about October 15th and make a second application in about 3 weeks. So that puts you over in early November for the second app. That treatment is very good for annual bluegrass control in tall fescue. You're not going to see tall fescue, so if you have an area now that's got tall fescue in it, it's got annual bluegrass and tall fescue, you can bet it'll be back next year. So those are the areas that you want to treat. So now is a good time to kind of map those areas to determine where you want to spray Prograss. And Prograss is very friendly to seeding in the fall as well, so we have that option. Now let's go over to Bermuda grass and zoysia grass, warm season grasses here for a second. All kinds of options that we can use in warm season grasses. We have simazine, we have atrazine, we have the ALS inhibitors such as Revolver, Monument. If you're going to use those ALS inhibitors like Revolver, Monument, Rimsulfuron is another one. Katana is another one. What you want to do is you want to target those treatments for about early November, because most of the POA has germinated, even though you don't see it, and it's still warm, so the products will work very well. And then you have good control because you have small POA, you have warm temperatures, and those products work very well. When you do that, you won't see much POA in the spring. Now you can come back with a spring application of those products. And here we are in April now, and the question is a very valid question to consider. If you have Poa annua in warm season grasses, should you treat it now? Well, it's going to die out about mid-May, and it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks for the herbicides to kill it. So a lot of times when it gets over into April, what we'll just say is keep it mowed frequently, keep it mowed kind of low, and don't worry about treating it because, it'll kind of disguise it. Mowing it kind of low will bring your warm season grasses on, and then it'll stress the Poa annua more, and it'll encourage it to die out. So keep in mind, it'll take about 3 weeks to kill it to begin with. So you can do the math, depending on just remember about mid-May, it's going to start dying out. There are all kinds of other options that we could spend an hour talking about for Poa annua control and warm season grasses. But those are just a few concepts you need to remember about the fall germination and target your treatments for the fall. So with that, we wish you a good turf season this summer, and I'm sure we'll be visiting again. Thank you.